No matter what organization, what group, what process you're involved in, it's always a good idea to take a look back and see how are we doing? What things have worked? What things have not worked? What things should we do better? What things should we do more of or less of? So that's kind of what we've done here. We have taken a look back at the 2 years that the current leadership of the Daviess County Republican Party has been involved in the party, and tried to see how are we doing and what can we do better. So I'll start out with a little bit of a timeline, and it'll go through the last 2.5 years or so. Um, I won't hit all the details, of course, but I'll try to hit the major highlights. So at one time, there was an active Republican Party in Daviess County, but that was not the case in early 2022. In early 2022, the party was basically non-existent. Many people, myself included, wondered if we even had a Republican Party here. So somewhere in the middle of 2022, a lady named Joanne Nelson found what was left of the party, and she got involved. She was elected vice chair and then ultimately elected chair. The party started having meetings again. Darren was elected vice chair. I was elected treasurer. We held a local candidate forum, and in the 2022 general election, the biggest highlight that came out of that for us was that we elected 100% Republican Daviess County Fiscal Court. First time that's ever happened. In 2023, we really started to pick up momentum. You see some of the things that happened here. Joanne had some issues come up at work and needed to resign as chair. She did. Darren was elected chair. Andy Gamblin was elected vice chair. Tanya Murphy was elected secretary. We opened the permanent headquarters on October 7th, 2023. Started the 120 Club. That's an opportunity for folks to donate $120 a year, $10 a month. That's enabled us to support candidates in elections, keep the headquarters open, many other things. We formed a candidate development committee. That's been a wonderful asset. We had a representative of our party attend a nationwide election integrity event and come back and tell the rest of us about how that went. In the 2023 primary and general election, the biggest highlight there was that we won all of the races for state constitutional offices except the governor's office. And well, it would really be quite an understatement to say in 2024 we've been busy so far. Titus Willis was elected our youth chair. We've had candidate development training, local candidate forum. We had a Lincoln dinner, which was a just wonderful success. Friday after 5, we were there every week. We'll talk about these things here in more detail. We had the mass meeting as required back in March. That led into the district and state conventions. Again, more detail coming on both of those. We did resolve a Kentucky Registry of Election Finance complaint against us. The resolution, thankfully, was that all charges against us were dismissed. And then in the 2024 primary election, Daviess County Republican voters chose Donald Trump to be our Republican candidate for president. And then we also elected Republican candidates for mayor and city commission who are running in November. So let's look at some pictures and some graphs that compare back then to now, pre-2022 to now. So this picture, a bunch of empty chairs, this is what Daviess County section looked like at the 2020 RPK, the Republican Party of Kentucky, 2nd District Convention. And it looked exactly the same at the 2020 RPK State Convention. Daviess County did not have a voice at either of those conventions in 2020. But what a change, what a difference 4 years makes. So when I was putting this presentation together, I realized I didn't have any pictures of us at the 2nd District Convention this year. So you have to just take my word for it that we look kind of like this, except we were all wearing red shirts, but we were all smiling, had a great day. We sent a full slate of 17 delegates. We participated in electing conservative delegates for both the state and national conventions. And we were proud and happy to vote for the election integrity resolution that passed that day. We did have some pictures at the state convention, though. So we sent 16 folks to the state convention, and we participated in electing conservative delegates for the national convention. And Daviess County actually had a representative at the national convention at the RNC. So I know I'm kind of wearing this picture out, but you get the point. Lincoln dinners, networking events, fundraisers, These things, by and large, were not happening prior to mid-2022. But again, what a difference a couple years makes. Our Lincoln dinner back in April of this year, we had wonderful speakers. It was a great networking event for us to meet fellow conservative Republicans from not just Daviess County, but from around the area. And it was a good fundraiser for our party too. Friday after 5, speaking for me personally, I did not have real high expectations for Friday after 5, but man, I couldn't have been more wrong. We were there every week this summer, every Friday this summer. We signed up new volunteers. We talked to a lot of folks about voter registration. We handed out information on our Republican candidates, and we raised several $1,000s for the party. And as you can see in these pictures, though, it was just a really good time. We just had a blast. It was something that I'm very glad that we did. So going back to 2022, we did not have a permanent headquarters. We had a lot of good meeting locations, some temporary headquarters, especially around election times, but nothing permanent. Now, Daviess County is only one of 6 Kentucky counties. That's out of 120 total counties with a permanent Republican Party headquarters. Our headquarters has really become a great home for all Republican activities in Daviess County. And as of October 7th, we've been in the headquarters for exactly a year. So we do make a lot of efforts to reach out to voters. Facebook is one of those ways. Facebook has a metric, it's just called reach, and it encompasses a lot of just everything that you can do on Facebook, likes and shares and reactions. And the takeaway from Facebook reach is that bigger is better. A larger number is better than a smaller one. That means you're reaching more people. The blue line on this graph is so far 2024. The gray line is 2022. Facebook's calculation is that we have increased our reach by about 475% since 2022. That's a lot. We have a lot of interaction on there. It's been a great resource. We don't have a slide on this. We also have a dedicated email address, and we've grown our contact list to more than 250 people. And so we try to do a good job of sharing things on both of those venues, and that way it reaches folks one way or the other, if not both. All right, so this is a big one. And so our October 7th celebration was not just a celebration of being in the headquarters for a year. It was also a celebration of this. For as long as any of us have been alive, Daviess County registered voters have been primarily Democrats. And in fact, 1978, the first data we have available, 82% of Daviess County's voters were registered as Democrats. But no more. That lead that Democrats had just has gone away, literally. As of August 2024, Republicans overtook Democrats, and then they increased. Republicans increased their lead in September. We expect that trend will continue. You look at the platform of the two parties, there is no doubt that Republicans by far represent the interest of Daviess County. Countyans better. So no real surprise here. If you look at our bank accounts, an inactive party like we were in 2022 has fairly inactive bank accounts. An active party like we are now, well, our bank accounts are more active. So you look at the low point of this graph, January 2022, that's about $750. You look at it now, October 2024, it's about $13,000. And that's even more impressive when you realize that we've kept a permanent headquarters open for a year. We've supported candidates financially. We've had other expenses going on. And so we are, by any possible measure, doing way better financially than we were before our current leadership took over. I've never, just a couple anecdotes here, I've never been involved with any group until this one that goes through deposit slips faster than it goes through checks. And you can see those results here, obviously. We're not writing as many checks as we are taking in deposits. And y'all are just wearing me out, your treasurer out. We have to do a report to Frankfurt every 6 months. And the first couple of them that I did might have 20 or 30 transactions, if even that. It didn't take hardly any time. The last one, and the one that I know is coming up in January, hundreds and hundreds of transactions and take just a ton of time. It's awesome. It's y'all keep up the good work and keep wearing me out. One way to kind of compare us to our friends down the street, is to look at who contributes, how much do they contribute to each other. And so if you look at us, which is the first column, and then the Daviess County Democrat Party, which is the column to the far right, in the last 30 months or so, this shows that more people are giving us 10, 20, 50 small dollar amounts. We rely on those donations. The Democrat Party, on the other hand, relies on larger donations. You see that their largest individual contribution was $3,000. They've gotten some money from PACs. We have not. And they just have fewer contributors, but those contributors average a larger amount. The income tax checkoff dollars, the very bottom number in this table, tell that same story. When you file your Kentucky tax return, you can check a box that says, I want to send $2 to my local party. Part of that $2 goes to us, part of it goes to the state. What we see here is that on average, about 75% more people check that box for us than they do for Democrats. And so it's another sign of the grassroots nature of the Daviess County Republican Party. We are the grassroots party in Daviess County. So everything that I have said so far is important, and we're proud of it. But if we're not electing conservative Republicans to offices representing Daviess Countyans, we're not doing our job. This is where the rubber hits the road. So let's see how we're doing here. So as of now, as of October 2024, every single elected office in Daviess County government is Republican. Makes it pretty easy to describe. I don't have to say, everything except this one is Democrat, because I can say that 100% are Republicans. That is something we're extremely proud of. As far as I know, it's never happened before, but it is certainly the case now. City of Owensboro, we're doing pretty well there too. The mayor is a Republican. He is up for re-election. Mayor Watson is up for re-election in November 2024. We need to support him, make sure that he gets back in there. Currently, the city commission, out of 4, only 1 is a Republican. We can make it 100% Republican in this election. We can and we should. We're working on city commission, and we hope that we accomplish that come November. The judiciary. Judicial races are typically nonpartisan. It's sometimes difficult to determine the party of the candidates who are running, but we have a appellate race this time, and it's kind of an exception to that rule. We've got a true conservative, Jason Fleming, who's running for the appellate judge position that's open. We need to support him in this election. A lot of the good that's done in the legislative and executive branches sometimes gets undone in the judicial branch. And so we've got an opportunity to put a good conservative into this appellate position. We should take advantage of that. Definitely need to support him in this election. School boards, the Daviess County School Board. We currently have almost 100% Republicans in there. We can do that in this election. Tim Hicks is running against the only Democrat currently on that school board. We need to elect Mr. Hicks, get him into that position. The Owensboro City School Board, a little bit worse shape there. We have 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, and 1 independent. We can increase the number of Republicans by 1 in this election by voting for Kenny Rowley. Kenny is a conservative Republican. We need to get him onto that school board and to help bolster to make a Republican majority on that board. At the state level, our state senator, Gary Boswell, is a Republican. All 3 state representatives that represent parts of Daviess County are Republicans. DJ Johnson, Suzanne Miles, they're running this November, but they're running unopposed. So please check the box beside their name. Should give them a show of support. But most importantly, those of us who live in the east part of the county, we need to support Representative Scott Lewis. He's running also, but he actually has opposition in his race. So we need to support him and get him reelected. The constitutional offices, as I mentioned earlier, all of the state constitutional offices, except for the governor, are Republicans. And so we've got our work cut out for us in the next election for governor here in a couple of years. At the national level, again, the majority of Daviess County Republican voters did the same thing that the rest of the country did and said we want Donald Trump to be our candidate for president. So we need to work to make sure that Daviess County does our part to send him to the White House. Our 2 U.S. senators are Republican, Rand Paul, Mitch McConnell. They are not up for re-election this election. Daviess County's U.S. representative, Brett Guthrie, is also a Republican, and he is up for election in November. So we need to support him and make sure he gets back in office. So most importantly, though, none of what I've talked about would have been possible without the hard work and dedication of our awesome volunteers. We've talked about some of the big stuff, but there's a lot of little stuff going on too. We've got dedicated precinct captains. We have members attending meetings of elected bodies, city commission, library board, whatever that is. We have members volunteering on boards, working to keep our members informed, keeping our headquarters in tip-top shape, and just countless other little, they're small things, but they're important. And so we just have tons of volunteers. I couldn't be more proud of them. And it's been great to work together with such a wonderful, dedicated group. And so anybody seeing this presentation, if you want to get involved with what we're doing, you can give us a call, check us out on our website, our Facebook page, send us an email. All of our contact information is here. And so in conclusion, if anybody ever asked me, do I want to go back to how we used to do it, how we did this back in 2022 and before, my answer to that question is a very polite, but also very, very confident, no thank you. The numbers don't lie. We're doing it better, and we intend to keep doing it better. If you want to join us in that, by all means, get in touch. Thank you.